in term had a woman. We are bound to me on Pomacra. When you walk around affair. Oh, until a high ball and assembly. I
about my money. About my man, come here. Well, this is not kind of pencil. The kind of pim, to say, Hiano.
These residents of Dioya say they have run out of patience. There are numerous complaints about a refuse dump site in the middle of this residential area have not yielded any results.
The normal thing is, after people have finished doing their normal or routine house cooking or any other thing, they are supposed to bring it to the dumping site, of which Zoom Lion is supposed to take it to their usual place. But after they are finished with everything, the container can be there for 1 week, 2 weeks, and the car will not come and pick it up. So to that extent, the container will get full. And as a result of that, the people will start to place it around the area, of which those who are around encounter a whole lot of things.
This is not supposed to be a refuse dump site. This is a communal container site where they are supposed to dump solid waste. Money is deducted from the Assembly's common fund and paid to Zoomland Ghana Limited to lift the container to the final disposal site when it is full. The failure of the company to do that when the container is full has resulted in the garbage accumulating and forming a refuse dump. The stench from a nearby public toilet and the smoke and odor from this dump site have conspired to make life miserable for residents here.
I can't do for Piano because Omumia.
I was so part of Sabrosana Frida. Yeah, communally when you tune in and I say, Send and see, I stand about. All I not start here.
Aduma J, an elected assembly member of the Tano North District Assembly, says Zoomlion's conduct is a source of worry for him and his fellow assembly members.
With this very season that we are in now, when the wind blows, you see the polythene bag hovering around. And apart from that, the smoke which also come out with pollution. And those who are residing around, in fact, as a result of the health implication, always do complain about the situation that is happening here. If indeed those who signed the contract with Zoom Lion did everything as we expected, then something need to be looked at. Something need to be looked at, or at best, they need to terminate the contract and review it to let them work as we want it to be. Because the work that they are doing, in fact, we are not happy with it at all. And you can speak to any of the assembly members, most especially in this particular district. We are not happy with it at all.
This problem is not limited to the Tano North District. When we got to Tamale as part of our nationwide tour for this investigation, the communal container between the Abedipele roundabout and the Tamale Sports Stadium was full and spilling over. For the 3 days we stayed in Tamale, it was not emptied. In Nuaso Kolonya, in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality of the Eastern region, residents complain about the health hazards they have to endure from the overflowing containers that are not lifted regularly by Zoom Lion.
As you can see, toilet ni bola, a patch a higher wa, and yen to me who says, say, ye, way you, a dear, decide a big deal, and I say, we be sorry to me because our council are now a politics system, and then yes, sir, because a higher fear is hanum visiting Yaye, Bassa. Yen to me who say a council, yen yanny pebia or Beccasu. Was stand up and say, okay, a dear problem, okay, ye bay yamamu as I say, you say, so you call Assembly Honuswa, El Bobo, and Yejuma.
The story is not different at Aguna in the Hunter West district of the Western region.
If you look around, you can see that we have two containers there. We used to have one container. At a point in time, we realized that the contractor doing the work is unable to lift the container at the appropriate time. So that is the reason why those refuse is still lying up there. So at a point, we decided to add another container so that we don't have a situation where refuse will spill over and it will not be collected and to be lying there as we have there now.
Because of the failure by Zoom Lion to lift the container in time, the Assembly has bought additional containers and supplies the company with fuel to lift them. This has not solved the problem.
Based on the inability of the contractor to lift it when it is full, because they are supposed to monitor, and anytime it's full, if it's 2 days, 3 days, they lift it. But unfortunately, at times they delay in lifting and it creates these problems for us.
So whose cost is it to now contract someone to do all of this if you want to evacuate these items we see here?
Yeah, over the years, it has been the cost of the Assembly to do that. We always come in to do it because when the people see it like this, start raining, the complaints begin to come. And the contractor, well, he has nothing to lose. So we have to manage, get some funds to come and evacuate those things from there.
Contrary to media reports and assertion by some government officials that Zoom Lion has come to solve the nation's sanitation challenges, evidence on the ground proves otherwise. In the Takwan Swai municipality, the Assembly says it is responsible for about 80% of the solid waste collection here, while Zoom Lion, with its multiple sanitation contracts with the Assembly, takes care of 20%. The Environmental Health and Waste Management Officer of the Assembly, Emmanuel Kudo, says the Assembly often helps Zoom Lion execute its contract for which it is paid by the Assembly.
We have laborers or cleaners who clean the main station, the lorry stations, the markets, and then some part of the open spaces like the community centers. At this municipality, if we, the Assembly, stop waste management, there will be a problem in the system. Even if one of our cars is spoiled, we have a problem in the system in terms of waste management. Here we have high problem with waste management. So if we leave it with Zoom Lion alone, we may have a problem. We may have a serious problem because even when we have given them, they have a problem always. We have to go in to assist and then maintain the place.
Director of Waste Management at the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, John Gokemia, says the claim that assemblies cannot manage their own waste is false.
You see, Zoom Lion is doing it with money. You understand? When Zoom Lion had not come, the assembly had sanitary workers. They were cleaning and being paid. You understand? So they were cleaning it. When Zoom Lion had not come 10 years ago, was he living in filth? Wasn't the assembly that was supervising the cleaning of every place in the district or wherever? Huh? That was the time the Sama was being used properly. They go to the villages, you have swept and even left it, you haven't swept, you are summoned, you are taken to court. People even ran away on hearing that Sama is here. So the person should go back and read about the history about cleanliness and sanitation in the country.
The Tema Metropolitan Director of Waste Management, Solomon Noy, says if the government gives the assemblies a quarter of the resources it gives to Zoom Lion, Ghana will be cleaner than it is.
That is very unfortunate. If anybody should say that the assemblies or the metropolitan assemblies for that matter lack the needed capacity in terms of human resource to manage waste at the metropolitan assemblies, at least I can speak for Tema Metropolitan Assembly. Myself, I'm a public servant anyway. I'm a sanitary engineer. Not only a sanitary engineer, but I also hold a master's degree in water and sanitation engineering. A proud student from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, as well as another master's of science degree in sanitary engineering from the United Nations University in the Netherlands. Top notch. Yeah. Apart from that, I equally have civil engineers at the Waste Management Department here who are public health engineers. I even have some who have done their PhDs. Before we have the technical staff who are technologists and environmental health officers. Then we have the what do we call, the other auxiliary staff. We have masons, we have steel benders, we have plumbers, we have electricians. Because of the sewer line we have qualified electricians and pumping station mechanics to check the hydraulics. And our number is in the region of about between 80 and 120, if you include all the laborers, the sanitary laborers that we have. So to say that we lack this capacity in terms of human resource is, to say the least, it is neither here nor there.
In the Takwan municipality, where the assembly manages some of the container sites, JoyNews discovered a remarkable difference between the work done by the assembly and that of Zoomlion. The assembly has built structures around its containers in order to ensure that no solid waste that falls from the container flies away. The place is kept tidy without any garbage spillage. Even at Assembly's container sites without structures, one cannot find any spilled refuse. At the Zoomlion container site, however, we discovered the containers were full and had not been lifted at the time of our visit. There was also a huge pile of refuse on the ground. Zoomlion's managers refused to speak to JoyNews, but the assembly officials say Zoomlion does not release funds regularly for its operations in the districts. Here is Owusu Secretary of the Hunter West district.
They wait, or I don't know whether they wait deliberately or for whatever reason, and to spill over and we start accumulating something on the ground. Then we quickly have to come in. There has been a lot of situations that we have to come in to evacuate the refuse from the ground.
And have you ever taken the pain to follow up on them to find out why they are not lifting them as and when they should? If you have, what excuse have they given you?
Well, most often they have been talking about fuel, that maybe the amount given to the district operations supervisor is not adequate to work on the number of containers they have to lift per the district. So if the amount gets finished and until something else comes from the other side, their headquarters or their office in Takoradi, they wait. So within that period, then they get these problems happening.
The challenges, they talk of funding enough fuel to be able to carry all the bins that are full to the final disposal sites. So sometimes we have to always prompt them to get a little bit of funding to be able to move the containers. If not, a lot of times you see spillovers at the container sites, which when it's spillover is very difficult to manage, because people continue to dump and it becomes a problem collecting to the final disposal sites.
The problem with the Sanitation Improvement Package contract is as old as the contract itself. This is a contract signed with all the 216 assemblies and has been running for more than 10 years. In 2009, a whistleblower from the Tano South district of the Bunahaf region petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to investigate alleged corruption perpetrated by Zoomlion and some government officials in the award of this contract.
We got a whistleblower disclosure to the effect that Zoomlion, the administrator of the Common Fund, and 138 district assemblies were colluding, conniving to defraud the state. And so we should investigate and make sure that the monies that were wrongfully paid are paid back to the state.
When Shraj began the investigation, Zoomlion went to court to stop the commission.
Zoomlion took the position that this is not a matter that the commission has the jurisdiction to investigate. And so we had a tangle in the court. In the end, we were able to convince the court that Zoomlion got it all wrong. Their basis for challenging the jurisdiction of Shraj was that they are a private entity, and so the commission can only investigate public officials.
In November 2013, the High Court threw out Zoomlion's case, and gave Shraj the green light to do the investigation.
Since then, we have proceeded and we have covered all the 138 at that time, the district assemblies that were then in existence in Ghana were 138. We have concluded. Our report is being compiled, and hopefully we would come out with our decision. Yeah.
So what areas were you looking at generally in your investigation?
Well, quite a number of issues. One, contracts, payments that were made to Zoom Lion under contract when there was no performance. I don't want to go into the details of it, and clearly we have the duty to find out, did the assemblies enter into contracts instructing the common fund administrator to release allocations meant for the assemblies to Zoom Lion for 8 months when Zoom Lion has not worked for those 8 months?
For the past 10 years, Zoom Lion has dominated the waste management industry in Ghana and has monopoly over almost all government sanitation contracts. In all the 216 assemblies, Zoom Lion has contracts to manage the sweepers. Zoom Lion has another contract with all the assemblies to lift communal containers to the final disposal sites. Zoom Lion's sister company, Waste Landfills Limited, has another contract to manage the final disposal sites in the assemblies. Zoom Lion also has another contract with all the assemblies to manage what it calls sanitation guards. For some years, the government froze the recruitment of sanitation officers trained in the nation's School of Hygiene. Instead of engaging them to help the assemblies in waste management and environmental health, the government, in collaboration with Zoom Lion, recruited high school leavers who could not pass their final examinations to work with the assemblies. They are called sanitation guards. At the end of each month, the government allocated between 400 and 600 cedis per person and paid to Zoom Lion. Zoom Lion paid the sanitation guards 100 cedis each and retains the rest as management fees. One of the sanitation guards told JoyNews she had to leave the program because there was virtually nothing to be done.
I didn't work for long, or I didn't work, let me say, because they didn't give us appointment letters, 1. 2, they never told me specifically where I will work. But what I realized was that 4 months' salary was paid. And then I was told that by my colleagues that they've paid, and I asked, but we have not been given where to work, why should they pay us? And that was it. I said, I will not take money that I have not worked for. So I stopped working, I stopped the job.
According to assembly officials, the flattering stories of Zoom Lion's achievements in waste management, as told by the media, is quite different from what pertains on the ground. For instance, last year, it was widely reported that Zoom Lion had distributed 400 waste trucks and 5,000 tricycles to assemblies across the country at no cost to the government. JoyNews tour of the assemblies has revealed that no single truck was given to the assemblies. Zoom Lion gave the trucks to its workers to help execute its numerous contracts in the districts. The trucks are used to carry out Zoom Lion's contracts with the assemblies and the company's sanitation contracts with corporate bodies and individuals. It was also reported last year that Zoom Lion would distribute 1 million free beans to Ghanaians in 2017. This was announced by the CEO of Zoom Lion and chairman of the Jospon Group, Joseph Sian Ejapon, at the 10th anniversary celebration of Zoom Lion.
We were the first company to distribute free beans to households, and currently we have distributed over 200,000. Our vision is to distribute 1 million free beans in the year 2017 to all households.
JoyNews has found this claim to be false or misleading. The free dustbins to be supplied in 2017 were not an act of generosity by Zoom Lion. At the time Joseph Sian Ejapon was making this announcement, 5 of his companies had been handpicked by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for a contract to supply 1 million waste bins and 900,000 disposable bin liners. The 5 companies are Universal Plastic Products and Recycling Company Limited, Yeko Plastics Ghana Limited, JSA Logistics Limited, Able Plastic Recycling Limited, and Meridian Waste Management Limited. All the 5 companies belong to the Jospon Group owned by Joseph Sian Ejapon. 4 of the companies were to supply 1 million waste bins at a cost of $60 million, while the 5th, Meridian Waste Management Service, was to supply 900,000 bin liners at a cost of $14 million and $40,000. JoyNews investigation has revealed that the cost of the contract appears highly inflated. The cost of a 240-litre waste bin is 135 cedis from the leading producers of waste bins in Ghana, who are also suppliers of waste bins to the local government ministry. For the purpose of this investigation, however, we went for pro forma invoices from Universal Plastics, one of the Jospon companies which won the contract to supply the waste bins. The price of a 240-litre waste bin at this Jospon company is 150 cedis. The local government ministry had earlier awarded the waste bin contract and charged 15 cedis each for transportation. So we decided to make the cost of transportation for the Jospon contracts 20 cedis per waste bin. This puts the price per waste bin at 170 cedis or $39.5 using the prevailing exchange rate of 4.3 cedis to $1. The cost of the 1 million waste bins should therefore be $39.5 million, but the contract quoted $60 million, a difference of $20.5 million. Also, a piece of bin liner from the Jospon Group is sold at 0.98 cedis or 22 cents. 900,000 pieces of bin liners should be $206,686. In the contract, however, the company is to supply a piece of bin liner to the state at a cost of $15.6 a piece. This means a bin liner, which is less than 1 cedi at the Jospon Group, is sold to the state at 67 cedis. What would have cost the state $206,686 to procure is quoted as $14 million and $40,000. This appears to be an overcharge of $13.8 million. This means the cost of the $74 million contract to the Jospon Group may have been inflated by $34.4 million or 148 million Ghana cedis. This amount can sink a borehole each for 14,800 communities where access to potable drinking water still remains a remote dream. But the inflation of the contract sum is not the only anomaly with the waste bin contract with the Jospon Group. JoyNews investigation has discovered that the ministry did not need the waste bins at the time it awarded the contract. In our investigation across the country, we discovered that thousands of waste bins have been abandoned in the various assemblies to rot because the assemblies could not distribute them. Emmanuel Edrama is the Biakunya District Environmental Health Officer.
We've gotten 350 litre bins. These containers were brought from the Zoom Lion, no, the Regional Coordinating Council, yes, but it is Zoom Lion that is servicing the containers.
So how many of them have you been able to distribute?
Okay, for now, I can say that we have distributed about 170 of them. And the issue is that it is affordability. It goes with some cost. And those who are supposed to take them, not all of them can afford the payment of a token of 15 cedis per month. So we are encouraging households where there is a house and we have about 4 or 5 households, they could pick a container and use so that at the close of the month, the 4 households pay the 15 cedis. So that is what we are sensitizing the people on.
In the Volta region, we sighted and filmed piles of waste bins in the South Dai District Assembly, Kwando Municipal Assembly, Kratchi East, Kratchi West and Kratchi Chumru District Assemblies.
This environment has nothing to do with sanitation or waste management. This premises is the district police headquarters in Chendere in the Kratchi Chumru district of the Volta region. About 200 of these litter bins have been here since last year, and they were relocated here because the owner of the facility in which they were kept in Chendere town asked the assembly to find a place for them.
The waste bins in most of these areas are left in the sun, and some are cracking. In the Northern Regional Coordinating Council in Tamale, there are bins packed under a tree. But the Northern Regional Environmental Health Officer Matthew Jakpamumuni says, besides those he's yet to distribute, he still has more to take delivery of. In the Upper East region, there were waste bins left in the open at the Bongo and Talensi districts at the time of our visit. Joseph Azure is the Bongo District Environmental Health Officer, whose outfit is in charge of distributing the bins.
We had about 600 bins, and then here Zoo Lion started with their own bins where they were charging people. If you come to pick it, you have a monthly charge to pay, so that every week or every 2 weeks they come to empty your container. But when the government bins came, during our national sanitation days, we announced. Now we distributed almost all the schools in the district, the basic, tertiary and the secondary schools. All of them have gotten some. All the market squares, we have distributed some there. The traditional rulers, we gave them some. And then all the secondary schools, I think then the offices too, here, all those offices who came, they collected, like a Greek NCCE. They are run low-cost houses, officers saying that you came and picked some. And I think we have distributed at least, I would say about 400 and something.
At the old residency of the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council in Wa, waste bins left there for over 2 years were covered with weeds and left at the mercy of the weather. The Wa Municipal Assembly, which is a few meters away from here, has not been able to distribute some of its waste bins. There are hundreds of them left in the open at 2 separate locations, the residences of the Municipal Coordinating Director and the Municipal Finance Officer. The assemblies, especially the rural ones, say residents do not need the waste bins. They hardly generate waste and prefer smaller containers, which children would carry to the communal container size for dumping. In some assemblies, the households which took the waste bins used them to store water. George Arthur is the Wa Municipal Environmental Health Officer.
Whenever we go out on this our premises inspection, we see that some of them will pack them in the house and store in water. I was able to organize my environmental officer. We went to run all those people you are seeing of this, and we treat them back.
You're using it for water?
Yeah, they were using it for water.
Why?
Well, because first initially, when the database came, I told the management that this one is like a drum. So we should label them and perforate them so that nobody can store in water. But they only labeled them and left the perforation.
In November 2014, the local government ministry awarded a contract to Qualiplast to supply 155,000 waste bins. The company supplied about 100,000 waste bins and was asked to hold on because there was no space to accommodate the rest. While the company was still waiting to supply, the ministry went ahead to award an inflated contract to the Jospon Group to supply 1 million bins. The Office of the President directed the local government ministry to award the contract. The Chief of Staff at the Presidency at the time, Julius Debra, was the Minister of Local Government at the time the contract was awarded for the supply of the 155,000 bins. He also wrote a letter directing the Minister of Finance to make provision in the 2017 budget to finance the $74 million contract. Both Julius Debra and Collins Dauda have declined to comment. The Jospon Group has also declined to respond to our questions and requests for an interview. The company only released a press statement after excerpts of this report were aired, denying wrongdoing and threatening to sue if the multimedia group did not retract and apologize. The waste bin contract awarded to the Jospon Group in 2016 was inflated by 148 million cedis. This amount is bigger than the amounts allocated to 13 ministries in the 2018 budget. These are the 13 ministries and the monies allocated to them in the 2018 budget.
Ministry for Justice and Attorney General, 110 million Ghana cedis. Information Ministry, 107 million Ghana cedis. Ministry for Inner Cities and Zongo Development, 102 million Ghana cedis. Ministry for Works and Housing, 91 million Ghana cedis. Transport Ministry, 77 million Ghana cedis. Ministry for Gender and Social Protection, 61 million Ghana cedis. Business Development Ministry, 52 million Ghana cedis. Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Ministry, 40 million Ghana cedis. Ministry for Youth and Sports, 33 million Ghana cedis. Ministry for Regional Reorganization and Development, 4 million Ghana cedis. Planning Ministry, 3 million Ghana cedis. Parliamentary Affairs, 3 million Ghana cedis. Ministry for Monitoring and Evaluation, 3 million Ghana cedis.
Another Jospon contract with the government, which is fraught with malfeasance, is the Waste and Sanitation Model Contract with the Youth Employment Agency. Kojo has been sweeping the streets of Kumasi for more than 10 years now, but he's paid 100 cedis or $22 a month for his sweat. He's one of the pioneers who were engaged in 2006 by the National Youth Employment Program, now Youth Employment Agency. Under this arrangement, the government allocates 500 cedis for each beneficiary per month, but according to the contract, each beneficiary will be entitled to 100 cedis a month, while Zoomline takes 400 Ghana cedis as management fees.
You did can't fire a batch, yeah, 150. Yeah, 150. No, I'm fire first batch.
I Kumasi ha.
Kumasi ha, yeah.
So we have more kabaya him pioneers na mo shase no.
They say pioneers in aka 6. Omu nyina agya aka 6.
No we had into no mujai.
In fact, jani nyina ye ahokyere ye ba mu no. Na at times first time I start in the na in fact yeah say near start to cry 500 50 Ghana start time no. Yeah, na fi tutu mu ana bedru 1 million. Yeah. Nti free ho ne de sika bia meka ho. Sika bia meka. Nti ama ho kire nti de ohwe a ne ho ba kire no na na obekọ akoye adwuma fufuro bi no wajai na okọ. Sa na okọ.
Na o sa ho kire 1 million na ho kire ben sa na de bremo.
Oh, in fact, I want to say bebre transportation cry 1. Transportation cry will be over car 2 cedis. Imagine be fat car 3 cedis. So to share M1. So and son wa buy juma coffee. So bosome no so said your bed nyani can create problem.
Kojo says it is from this meager amount that he gets his transportation and medical bills. He has no retirement benefit.
The mechanical man say 5 million na o say ampa say so the maya ohun the mitri eno yensa kan ye ni beje pa ye yate bet ye nim say ye no crew say nye no crew ohun ye nim nti ye yakoma da so say yensa kan sa de ne dia ka ye nso ye pe na o mo permanent ya ohun the mitri because why ye adwuma na che say wu kofi kwa bibi ya wa se bia ya okwa u process ya me hu nipa bibre pra wo mu so ya na eden so bi kra dan bi ka yi aboba bo obi woman bi opra na ka ne tai twa abo no che se obre ya sika papa bia mem
money insurance
dabi
money snake
dabi ya fire no omo ma ye fail snake form media ho sesi up to date snake dia ni
In the central business district of Accra, the Zoomlion workers and the Accra Metropolitan Assembly workers do the same cleaning. Their payment comes from the same government. However, the AMA workers are paid between 200 and 450 cedis and have other benefits such as health insurance and pension benefits. Those whose payments are routed through Zoomlions go home with 100 cedis a month. 43-year-old Joanna Hansen is a mother of 4. She says the only benefit she gets apart from her 100 cedis is a small bag of rice and oil at Christmas.
Still, that's the 1 million. That's the 1 million. No, 11 years in I'm starting Juma. Say, say, still, my 3 months pay. My yes, we are bomb pie say, I buy for Floy and obey on baby Kakara. My
I was in Zoomlion program at the Ghana 50 year when they were launching the recent trucks they brought last year. One Alaji spoke. The man only spoke about trying to asking Zoomlion to increase their and come and look at the place. The jubilation, the shout from the workers. You understand? This tells you that, well, probably they think their money is not good. And the man has hit the nail right on the head. But I want to also advise Zoomlion that if it is true, that is 500. Administration should not take about 90%. It should be 50-50. You understand? Let them benefit so they can work with free minds. So there will be no agitations in their minds. So they will not be in groups like we see them. You see them in groups. It's all because they think their money is not good, so they don't have to waste their time so much. They sit in group and chat.
The contract started in 2006. In the first 5 years, the government paid each worker 50 cedis and paid Zoomlion 300 cedis as management fees. The increment came in 2011 when the management fees increased to 400 cedis for Zoomlion, while the beneficiary allowance went up to 100 cedis per worker. Joantri, who has worked for 11 years as a sweeper, has earned a total of 10,200 Ghana cedis. With the same period, Zoomlion has earned 46,800 cedis in his name. Currently, Zoomlion claims it has 45,000 sweepers like Joantri and is entitled to 80 million cedis of management fees every month. The executive chairman of the Jospon Group, Joseph Sion Ejapon, has stated that money is not his motivation of being in business.
So when I create business, it's because of employment. Employment. Some of the businesses, I don't even go there a year, but my joy is that people are working. Because I believe that in society, it is not about money. People must work. I don't even value how some of the companies will thrive once you get the competent people to manage it and people are working. So it's working, how people will get. And now look, if we don't help people, when God helps you to place you well in life, look at others, see how best they can. So when I see people working, I enjoy it. And that's the creativity and that's the idea. So I don't consider it being greedy, but looking at opportunities and see how best people also can be engaged.
Mr. Sion Ejapon has justified the arrangement, which allows his company to take 500 cedis and pay the workers 100 cedis.
Is that corruption? You determine how much will be paid because of the total amount. And that's how some journalists define corruption, that you give 100 cedis to a worker of Zoomlion and take 400. So they look at that, I should take 400 and give them 300 and be philanthropic. I don't mean business. They don't see the details and survival. So you are just simply saying that whatever how much Joy FM Multimedia makes, they must share it to the workers devoid of any cost. That's simply, and you define this corruption.
Kojuentry says the most frequent supply they receive are the brooms, which come once every 3 months.
Near money, they at least be a bear 1 year near Nyabako.
Monya ebe mfia hina mo sabetumi akafoforo biem.
We betimi abrafe. But I feel that and you likely say you be imprint. Say being a bema entered imprint, sir. Be a fear na at least in 2 years there. Be a finifa. We be sir.
My prayer, Yankasa na eto prayer, Yankasa na eto kenta this is
In 2013, JoyNews investigation revealed massive corruption in the youth employment program under which this Zoomlion contract falls. The government set up a committee to probe further. After conducting a value for money audit, the committee came to the following conclusions on the Zoomlion contract.
By Zoomlion's own admission, the cost of a fully fitted tricycle is 1,200 Ghana cedis, and they are replaced every 2 years. The total number of tricycles in circulation is less than 10,000, about 6,000. Even assuming 10,000 tricycles, Zoomlion requires only 12 million Ghana cedis every 2 years to replace them, but charges the Ministry of Youth and Sports 37.5 million Ghana cedis, an excess of over 25.5 million Ghana cedis. By Zoomlion's own admission, the tricycles are robust and hardly break down, yet the Ministry of Youth and Sports pays 22.82 million Ghana cedis over the term of the contract to repair them. The cost of repairs is almost double the cost of purchase. This is inappropriate. Zoomlion suggests it buys motorbikes for its supervisors numbering about 600 and replaces them every 2 years. Zoomlion suggests that the cost of a motorbike is about 1,500 Ghana cedis, meaning that Zoomlion requires 900,000 Ghana cedis to replace them for every 2 years. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, however, pays 49.64 million Ghana cedis over the 2-year period for motorbikes. This is an overcharge of about 48.7 million Ghana cedis.
This contract expired in February 2013, and the JIDA committee recommended its discontinuation. The government did not take steps to retrieve the money overcharged or discontinue the contract, but kept on paying Zoomlion. In 2016, Zoomlion claimed the government owed it more than 440 million cedis in arrears between 2013 and 2015. The Auditor General says there's no evidence of a contract or specific work done to support any such payment, but JoyNews has gathered the government is taking steps to pay the money. According to officials of the Assemblies, Zoomlion and its sister companies are a source of financial distress, and the charges to the common fund across the board for sanitation services are not fair. In the Banda district of the Bonohafo region, for instance, there is only one public toilet and the district has no market. Solid waste management is not a challenge for this rural district, but they pay Zoomlion, like any other district, for services that are practically non-existent. Banda is one of the poorest districts in Ghana. Officials here say their internally generated funds for the whole of 2016 amounted to only 36,000 cedis, so the deductions from their common fund for sanitation is a serious drain. Assemblies such as Banda and Bongo need money to provide water and improve infrastructure such as education and healthcare, but they say they are compelled to sign contracts they do not need. Even though they have problems with the contracts, some officials of the Assembly say the chairman of the Jospon Group, Joseph Sian Ejapon, is so powerful and connected that one could be victimized for opposing his contracts. So who is Joseph Sian Ejapon, and how well connected is he?
Well, there's so much more to talk about with Joseph Sian Ajapong. He's having one of the very rare interviews that he's granted in his career, and he's doing it here on the Super Morning Show. When we come back, we'll be delving into some other areas. We'll be talking about corruption. We'll be exploring his business model. Is government his only customer? And all of those questions you have about the toll levy, he will answer them right here on the Super Morning Show.
I started in 1999, 2000, just walking on the street selling. So it wasn't government. But I recognize that every foreigner who came into this country first looked for government. So I joined them. No one has come to look for me. They always, they were talking about private sector and investors forum. And when we went to one investor forum in Ghana here, after that, everybody wanted to see the president, not me. They called B2B. After B2B, they want to see the minister, not me. So I said then I will join government. So that is one of the strategies why I've been joining government, so that people will see government and see me.
Joseph Sian Ejapon was not among the topmost and influential businessmen in Ghana until 2006, when the John Agyekum Kufuor government gave his companies multiple sanitation contracts across the country. A respected elder of the Church of Pentecost, Mr. Ejapon said the decision to go into waste management came as a direction from God.
In the year 2004, I went for a place to pray. And I had a revelation through prayers. I saw an image of a magnificent building and a call to start a waste management company. This really happened at Begro.
With a few man-powered tricycles, Zoomlion has grown into a giant in the waste management sector in Ghana and wields monopoly over almost all government sanitation contracts.
When we came into office, there were many on our side who believed that Zoomlion was an MPP company and must be killed. Said it had become a monopoly of the waste management sector. The waste management sector should be opened up and other businesses should come in. But Prof was very principled and determined. And with my support, they said he's a Ghanaian businessman.
Mr. Sian Ejapon has stated publicly that he has 45 companies. But our investigation has revealed he has more than 70 companies, 25 of which are into waste management and sanitation. The government of Ghana is his main customer.
Mr. Ejapon, how come it appears that in Ghana your only customer is the government?
Kwajo, foreigners, who is their customers? Foreign big companies, who is their customers? Tell me any foreign company who have come to the soil of this country, came with $1 million and started doing business on its own. Their customer is government. They chose sovereign guarantee and prestigious businesses. So why is it that a citizen, a native of this country, if my customer is government, is wrong?
Mr. Sian Ejapon says he is a devout Christian and godliness and integrity are among the core values of his businesses.
Church that I attend, and as all Christians and all believers in Ghana, we are trained biblically on the principles and the doctrine of the Bible. So it becomes concerned that the members, they know me, they know my ethics, they know my principles. So when people start talking about Ejapon is corrupt, Ejapon is greedy, it shows a concern, it gives a concern because it knows me. I don't have a different life in church and a different life in business. I don't have a double standard life. So it brings a concern. They become concerned about it. When you are peddled as a bad person, whilst you are not. And just everyone in your family, everyone will be concerned. Why? What is going on? So it is a concern.
So they don't believe the stories that they read?
They don't believe it. They know me. So please, I don't bribe my way. I don't pay bribes. I do a genuine business. I do business that have my values. I protect my integrity and brand.
It is not surprising that as Zoomlion group of companies are celebrating their 10th anniversary, they have chosen this particular verse. It's very, very important because it needs the grace of God for somebody to carry on as he has done up to this time. We have to assist the person, encourage the person, promote the person because he works for the benefit of humanity, of society. If you kill the business, many people will suffer. We therefore recommend to all politicians and all those people in places of responsibility that they should rather help those people to succeed, whether they are in the government or in opposition. Otherwise, it affects the entire nation, and that is wrong.
In 2013, 3 of Jospon's companies, including Zoomlion, were cited in the Judas scandal. Another of his companies, Suba Info Solutions, was also cited in the Suba scandal, in which the company was reportedly paid nearly 100 million cedis for no work done. No action has been taken against any of the Jospon companies in Ghana. In the same year, however, the World Bank blacklisted Zoomlion and its sister companies from participating in any World Bank-funded contract for 2 years. The World Bank said the ban was imposed on Zoomlion
following the company's acknowledgement of misconduct impacting the World Bank-financed emergency Monrovia urban sanitation project in Liberia. The company, Zoomlion, paid bribes to facilitate contract execution and processing of invoices.
I have to tell you and confess that it was a very sad day in my life. A young guy trying to get into the international world, trying to do something, and this. The day I was signing the debarment, I wept.
Mr. Japan has attributed the growth of his business to the support he got from former presidents.
When we started, the then President John Jekume Kufuor showed a lot of interest in what we were doing. I was there one day when the Chief of Staff, Honorable Kwajon Pieni, called me that President Kufuor wanted to see me. He invited me to his house, and I was in fear and in trembling that what does the president need me for? President Kufuor gave me words of encouragement and shared with me his vision for a clean, green and healthy Ghana, and asked me to see the Chief of Staff, Kwajon Pieni, to support me in any area that I need support. His successor, President Johnny Vatal-Mess, visited J.A. Planpu in the year 2009 during his first 100 days of his presidency. He invited me to the castle and encouraged me. In the year 2001, the late President Atamers, may his soul rest in peace, visited the Accra compost plant to show his support for this private sector.
At the 10th anniversary of Zoomlion last year, President Mahama revealed how close he was with Joseph Sian Ejapon.
I became closer to him when I became the vice president. He's no stranger to my house. He's a family friend and visits frequently. Indeed, it is very usual for me to get a phone call from him. You know, when I was vice president and president, as a vice president, can I see you urgently? I say, okay, please come.
He also revealed how the Jospon boss got business ideas for government projects.
He's one of the first persons who comes to me anytime I read the State of the Nation address. He listens diligently. And so when as president I'm saying government will do this, government will do this, government will do this, government will do this, he's taking notes of what government says it will do. And then either the same day in the afternoon, he will come to congratulate me for the State of the Nation address. And so when you give the address, you said government should do this, we can do it like this. And then he starts telling you how it can be done.
At the function, the president asked Jospon not to give up on a towing contract that had faced setbacks in the past.
I remember we worked together on the towing company project, and I'm urging him not to abandon that idea. We will come back to it and see how we can improve towing services in this country. And I want to congratulate you on your 10th anniversary. I wish to assure you that as long as I remain president, government will give your company every support to continue to grow.
President Mahama lost the 2016 elections, but before the election, a Jospon company was awarded that contract as the sole company to tow all broken down vehicles in Ghana for the next 20 years in return for a mandatory towing levy on all vehicle owners, including motorbikes. There was a nationwide resistance compelling the current government to terminate the contract. At a leadership retreat for the Jospon Group in January this year, a renowned Ghanaian evangelist, Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, told managers of the Jospon Group that Joseph Sian Ejapon had forged a relationship with some powerful people in the MPP government.
It doesn't matter who is in the helm of affairs. If you know how to keep relationships, you meet and still face your long run. I remember about 5 days today, myself and Dr. Sian Dupont were talking in his house there, and he had calls from people from the current government. Normally, you would think that because of the relationship he had with the past government, he has no relationship here. I look at him and I say, Chairman, you're a champion. He said, no, Mweboli, everybody must be your friend. I was so touched. Maybe I'm only short of mentioning him. If I tell you who called him, I told him, I got up and saluted him and said, you're a champion. Relationship.
Joseph Sian Ejapon was featured on the cover page of the August 2017 edition of Forbes Africa, and the article was titled, "A Dirty Job That Made a Poor Man Filthy Rich." Mr. Ejapon may be filthy rich, but the nation still remains filthy after sinking billions of cedis into multiple sanitation contracts with the Jospon Group. The over 100,000 people his companies have used and paid for by the government have not seen any improvement in their standard of living. The soil workers, the spraying gangs who undertake the fumigation exercises, as well as the sanitation guards are all paid 100 cedis, while Zoomlion receives between 400 and 600 cedis per person a month. While in opposition, the MPP led by its flag bearer, Nana Addo Dankwa campaigned on corruption and often cited some of the scandals involving the Jospon Group as acts of corruption by the NDC administration. In his first tour of the Greater Accra region after becoming president, Nana Akufo-Addo visited some of the Jospon facilities and commended him for doing a good job. He described the allegations of corruption involving the Jospon groups as controversies that come with being at the forefront of doing things.
We have to encourage you when you are in the forefront of doing things like you are. You'll be the subject of controversy. It goes with the territory. But I know you a little bit. I know you're capable of handling the controversy and staying focused.
If you are seen to be pampering or endorsing a known wrongdoer, that one is not right.
The president himself will be the best person to explain why he has shifted from the position that he held previously against Jospon to a new position, now praising Jospon out of doing a good thing.
When excess of this investigation series were aired, the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service and the Economic and Organized Crime Office started investigation of the Jospon Group and state officials who signed the contracts. Anti-graft campaigners have condemned the president's endorsement, saying he has sent a bad signal and could undermine efforts to hold Jospon accountable. It is yet to be seen if for the first time any action will be taken against the Jospon Group, or the government will propose a toast of continuation to the Jospon Group for business as usual.
I propose this toast to all of you in good health. Cheers.